What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Realms of Metal. Eddie here, back with you from you know where, the happiest place on earth, my metal room here in the woods in PA. What's going on? It is Saturday afternoon. It was another long ass work week, and yeah, I'm fried. I've been fried for the last couple months. I got to be honest with you, and I'm chilling here. My wife is out. I'm here by myself, and we did a I'm doing a new segment here on the show called Rank the Records. And I did a Slayer Rank the Records. I posted it on Wednesday, and that was a ton of fun. So I'm going to keep that going and just paying tribute to some of our favorite metal bands, regardless of genre. And today we're going to do the mighty Dio. Dio, I've always been a huge fan of Dio. Absolutely adored the guy. Uh, just one of those guys I latched onto right from the beginning. He was always my favorite vocalist of like the classic vocalists when it came to like the Ozzies and the Halfords and all that stuff. And I just love Dio's voice. It's like you put him on and it's like an old friend. You're hanging out with an old friend, and you put his music on and just everything was okay. How that goes. And let's celebrate the catalog of Dio today, shall we? So his catalog of the solo stuff, ranged from 1983 all the way to 2004. Ronnie James Dio, his real name was Ronald James Padavona, and he passed away May 16th, 2010. Very sad day for me. I know it well because my mother passed away, just a few weeks after that. My mom was in a hospice. She had lung cancer. You know, Incidentally, Ronnie James Dio passed away of stomach cancer, and I was gut wrenched. I mean, I was already in the dumps, from my mom being in the hospice, and we knew it was just a matter of time. It was stage 4 lung cancer, and he passed away, and then just a shitty time. It's a time that I can't seem to forget because of my mom passing and Dio passing a few weeks earlier. It was just I was in a ruddy fucking place. It sucked. And my mom used to say, like, my mom growing up, like when I used to play the classic bands in the house, like the Sabbaths and the Ozzies and the Priests and the Dios, whenever she heard any of those bands, she used to say, I saw Black Sabbath in the early 70s. She's like throw that at me like she was like cool. Yeah. I go, I know, Ma, you're old. You're so old. And she used to like get mad at me, like, as Italian moms do. But that's a fun memory that I have of her. She's every time I had something on, I saw Black Sabbath in the early 70s. I was like, okay, I know. It's pretty cool. So let's pay tribute. Let's also mention Jimmy Bain, who passed away in 2016, longtime bass player for Dio, and he also did keyboards as well. I mean, he was on, Holy Diver, The Last in Line, Sacred Heart, Dream Evil, Magicka, and Killing the Dragon. So he actually passed away of lung cancer as well. So, rest in peace to Jimmy Bain as well. He's another legend. So that said, let's have some fun. Let's rank these records, man. Dio's got 10 full lengths. Like I said, from 1983 all the way to 2004. And I ranked them, top 10. Let's start with number 10. And let me pull the graphics up I have for these. Here it is. Angry Machines. This is my number 10. This was released in 1996 on Mayhem Records. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio vocals, Tracy G on guitar. Now, this wasn't Tracy G's first record, Strange Highways was. And I really loved what Tracy G brought to the table for Dio. I mean, I loved his guitar tone and style. We'll get to Strange Highways, but I love Tracy G, just so you know. He's one of my favorite guitar players. Jeff Pilson on bass. Everybody knows him from Dokken. Vinny Appice on drums, of course, and Scott Warren on keyboards on this one. Produced by Ronnie James Dio. And the cover art on this one was done by a guy named Paul Gregory. who did cover arts for like Saxon, Blind Guardian, Freedom Call. Um, there was also a Japanese bonus track called God Hates Heavy Metal, if you got the Japanese version of this. So, I mean, it's all these Dio records are good to great. You know, I rank this at number 10. I mean, I don't love everything that Dio put out, but it's still good and you still need to own it. You know, they're still solid records. Like I said, I like some more than others, and you know, this is my ranking. So I actually have the vinyl on this as well. I picked up one of the reissues. It's kind of got like a lenticular cover on it. Pretty neat. So what do I like off of this one? I like Institutional Man. Hunter of the Heart is really good. This Is Your Life is amazing. It's a ballad. You know, I think it's one of the most beautiful tracks Dio ever wrote. And I did see Dio on this tour, and you know, it was a great show, man. I seen Dio probably 3 times solo, and I did get to see him once with Heaven and Hell, which is really, you know, Black Sabbath, and that was a killer show. That was fucking Heaven and Hell, Motorhead, Judas Priest, and I think Testament opened up that show. It was down in New Jersey. Super fucking killer. So here's my number 10, Angry Machines. Let's go to number 9. What do we got next? Here it is. Lock Up the Wolves, 1990. This came out on Warner Brothers. Here it is. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio, vocals, Rowan Robertson on guitar. He's actively a member of bands like King Cobra and Bang Tango. You got Teddy Cook on bass, who was with Great White. You got Simon Wright on drums, who was with AC/DC. Then you got Jens Johansson on keyboards on this one. So this was produced by Ronnie James Dio and Tony Platt, who's done stuff for like Celtic Frost, Iron Maiden, Testament, Manowar, Samson, Motorhead. He's done a ton of stuff. Cover art by Will Reese, and they did a music video on this one for Wild One. Again, I think it's a solid record. You know, I'm putting it at number 9 for me. That's just where I rank it. You know, there's some really good tracks on here, though. I think Wild One is amazing, really good track. Hey Angel's really good. Between Two Hearts is really good. Walk on Water, I think, is an underrated track. And then you got another ballad on here called My Eyes, which is goddamn amazing. You know, check out My Eyes. Beautiful, beautiful track. So Lock Up the Wolves. That's my number 9. Let's go to number 8. Pull it up. Where is it? Here we go. Magicka. Here it is. This came out in the year 2000 on Spitfire Records. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio vocals, Craig Goldie on guitar, Jimmy Bain on bass, Simon Wright on drums. Produced by Ronnie James Dio, cover art by a guy named Mel Grant. And Magicka was actually intended to be a trilogy. And obviously, he didn't get that far. Dio passed away, but there was supposed to be a Magicka 2 and a Magicka 3. And apparently there was one extra track called Electra that was re-released that you ended up getting on other, you know, on other pressings. I think it was released as a single back around 2010, but I think it's available as a bonus track now on some of them. So Magicka, solid record, man. I dig it a lot. You know, what do I like on this one? That intro and the Magicka theme is really cool. You know, Dio's fantasy lyrics are as good as it gets. You know, Lord of the Last Day is really good. Fever Dream, solid. Turn to Stone, solid. Feed My Head, solid. Chalice, solid. Here's another ballad, As Long as It's Not About Love. Beautiful. Dio sings his ass off on that track, man. I love As Long as It's Not About Love. It's beautiful, beautiful track. Losing My Insanity, really good. Otherworld, really good. Then they had a couple of reprises at the end of that, a Magicka reprise and a Lord of the Last Day reprise. So just short instrumental kind of things. Solid as fuck record, Magicka. That's my number eight. My number eight. Let's see what we got next. Go to number 7. Here it is. Master of the Moon. This came out in 2004. This was Dio's final release. And this was on Sanctuary Records. Do I have the vinyl on this one? I do. I actually picked up the vinyl on this one. I don't have all the Dio vinyls, but I do have all the CDs, and I'm just kind of picking them up when I see them at a decent price. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio vocals, Craig Goldie on guitar, Jeff Pilson on bass, Simon Wright on drums, Scott Warren on keyboards. Produced by Ronnie James Dio, cover art by Mark Sasso. There was a bonus track. The Japanese bonus track was called "The Prisoner of Paradise." If you were able to get that, if not, it was released on the Very Beast of Dio compilation. So, Master of the Moon. What do we like off of this record? It's a really solid record, man. One More for the Road, the opener, sounds like a classic Dio track. Like that sounds like it could have been, On the Last in Line or even Holy Diver. Really has like an old metal vibe to it that I really dug, for a track that came out in 2004. Master of the Moon, really good. Shivers, amazing. Shivers is a super underrated track. That might be one of my favorite modern Dio tracks is Shivers. Check that out if you haven't heard it. The Man Who Would Be King, absolutely killer. The Eyes, killer. I Am, really good. Death by Love, really good. Solid Dio record, man. Master of the Moon. Check it out. Let's go to number 6. What we got next? There you are. Killing the Dragon from 2002. I actually have this one on vinyl as well. This was on Spitfire Records. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio, Doug Aldrich, ex-Lion, who was like an LA glam band. Jimmy Bain on bass on this one, Simon Wright on drums, Scott Warren on keyboards, produced by Ronnie James Dio. Cover art again by Mark Sasso. He did some great covers. He did the Morbid Angel Heretic cover. He's done covers for Leatherwolf, the Halford solo stuff, The Fight, which is another Halford project. That Fight War of Words is fucking killer, right? Everybody must know that record, Fight War of Words. Music video on this one for Push. That was the video that featured the guys from Tenacious D, right? So it was a fun video. Killing the Dragon, man. What do we like on this one? Killing the Dragon, really good track. 10 out of 10. Along Comes a Spider, 10 out of, no, not 10 out of 10. Really solid for me. Scream, really good. Better in the Dark, underrated track. Rock and Roll, killer track. 10 out of 10 on that one. Push, Guilty, Throwaway Children, really solid record for Dio. This was 2002's Killing the Dragon. Let's go to number 5. Where is it? Here it is. Sacred Heart. This came out in 1985 on Warner Brothers. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio vocals, Vivian Campbell on guitar. This was his final record with Dio. They had some kind of rift where I'm not exactly sure what happened. I tried to read a little bit into it, and Dio said that he wasn't coming for like the recording sessions for the record, and they just had a rift. Jimmy Bain on bass, Vinny Appice on drums, Claude Schnell on keyboard on this one. Produced by Ronnie James Dio. Cover art by Robert Florzak, and music video for Rock and Roll Children on this one. Really strong record. I mean, we're in the top 5 now, and all these records are really strong. Sacred Heart. I mean, there's not a bad song on this record, really. I mean, there's probably not a bad song on any of the other records we're going to be talking about. King of Rock and Roll, absolutely killer. Sacred Heart, the title track, phenomenal. Another Lie, really solid. The Mighty Rock and Roll Children, that's like a metal anthem in my book. Hunger for Heaven, Really good. Wasn't in that movie Vision Quest? Remember with the wrestler from the 80s? Just Another Day, really solid. Fallen Angels, really solid. Shoot Shoot. I dig that track. It's kind of underrated. So Sacred Heart, 1985. Must own. Let's go to number 4. Feeling a little evil coming on. What do you think? Here it is. Dream Evil. Released in 1987 on Warner Brothers Records. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio vocals, Craig Goldie on guitar, Jimmy Bain on bass. This was his final appearance until 2000's Magicka. Vinny Appice on drums, Claude Schnell on keyboard, this was his final record with Dio. Produced by Ronnie James Dio. Cover art by Steve Huston. This was the last record to feature Murray on the cover, which was, the Demon, Dio's mascot. His name was Murray, if you didn't know. Music videos for this one, For All the Fools Sailed Away and I Could Have Been a Dreamer. Stone cold fucking classic of a record. Let's look at Dream Evil. Night People, 10 out of 10. Dream Evil, 10 out of 10. Sunset Superman, great track. All the Fools Sailed Away, an absolute stone cold metal classic in my book. Naked in the Rain. Overlove is underrated. I Could Have Been a Dreamer, really good. Faces in the Window is underrated. When a Woman Cries is underrated. Great record. Every track is good. 1987's Dream Evil. We're down to the top 3. Let's see what we got. Cover art. Here it is. The Last in Line, 1984 on Warner Brothers. It's a great one, man. The lineup: Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Vivian Campbell on guitar, Jimmy Bain on bass, Vinny Appice on drums, Claude Schnell on keyboard. This is what I would call the classic Dio lineup in my book. Produced by Ronnie James Dio, cover art by Barry Jackson. Music videos for We Rock, The Last in Line, and Mystery. Phenomenal record, man. The Last in Line. Let's look at the tracks. We Rock, an anthem, 10 out of 10. The Last in Line, another anthem, 10 out of 10. Breathless, killer. I Speed at Night, so much fun. That track is absolutely killer. One Night in the City, really solid. Evil Eyes, underrated. Mystery, phenomenal, fun track. Eat Your Heart Out, really good. Egypt, The Chains Are On, really good. Damn. The Last in Line, 1984. You need it. You probably already got it. Let's go to number 2, down to the top 2 here. And I gotta be honest with you, I love this record so much. I saw Dio on this tour. This was the first record with Tracy G. 1993, Strange Highways. This came out on Vertigo Records. The lineup on this one was Ronnie James Dio, Tracy G, guitar, Jeff Pilson on bass, Vinny Appice on drums. Produced, engineered, and mixed by Mike Fraser, who did stuff with Ozzy, Paradise Lost, Satyricon, Metallica. He did a bunch of stuff. Cover art by Will Reese on this one, who actually did the cover art for the Black Sabbath record that Dio was on, Dehumanizer. Really cool. This is a killer cover as well. And I saw Dio on this tour. I met Tracy G out in the parking lot and Jeff Pilson, and they were fucking amazing guys. I didn't get to meet Dio that night, but I did get to shake his hand at the end of the show. He was, shaking people's hands before they went off. I did get to shake his hand, and but I just didn't get. We hung out after the show, and Dio just never came out. I don't know. We couldn't wait any longer. We had like a fucking hour and a half, 2-hour drive home. So we did get to meet Tracy G and Jeff Pilson. I got their autograph in my scrapbook. Really cool guys. To me, Dio's heaviest record. I mean, this has got a bite. This record's got a bite to it. Tracy G's guitar tone is heavy. Again, I love his style. I wish that he had done more with Dio, moving forward. I know he did Angry Machines after this, but I love this record so much. Me and my friend Joe listened to this thing nonstop when it came out. It's always in one of our cars when we were, driving around, going to work and hanging out. And, I have a lot of fond memories of this one, 1993. It's the year I graduated high school. So good times, man. Great record, Strange Highways. Let's look at the lineup, the song on that. Every song is either good or great on this one. Jesus, Mary, and the Holy Ghost, 10 out of 10. Firehead, amazing. Strange Highways, the title track, 10 out of 10. Hollywood Black, really good. Evolution, always one of my favorite Dio tracks. I love that track. It's heavy as fuck. Pain, really good. One Foot in the Grave, really good. Give Her the Gun, really good. Blood from a Stone. Here's to You is 10 out of 10. That's just a fun track to listen to. Closes with Bring Down the Rain. Absolutely another killer one for me. So every track on this one is good. I can be skipping anything. Again, I think it's Dio's heaviest record, and I love this one to death. So 1993's Strange Highways. And let's go to number one. You know what it is. I know what it is. It's no secret here. It's one of the best traditional heavy metal albums ever, in my opinion. And that's Holy Diver. This came out in 1983 on Mercury Records. The lineup on this one, Ronnie James Dio, vocals, Vivian Campbell on guitar, Jimmy Bain on bass, Vinny Appice on drums, produced by Ronnie James Dio. The original artwork on this one, I found this interesting. I'm going to pull this up. So the original artwork was done by a guy named Gene Hunter, and apparently what he came up with was a little too graphic from what they wanted to put on the album cover. So like the finished product was done by a guy named Randy Barrett, and he kind of took that artwork and kind of made it a little less, offensive to go on the album cover. So hang on a second. I got that here somewhere. I saved the page. Let me read this to you. This is actually pretty interesting. Where is it? The initial rendering of Holy Diver's cover was by Gene Hunter, but the illustration that actually appears on the finished product was the work of Randy Barrett. Gene was this musician we knew who drew pretty well, Theo said, so we asked him to try it for us. Originally, artwork had the priest underwater, hanging upside down and chained to a cross. How great is that? Eventually, we decided the cross was a little bit too much, but Gene did a great job with it, and Randy did the final rendering of that art. So I just thought that was a pretty cool story that was right from Dio. And, I would like to see that art, man. I looked for it. I couldn't really find it, but really cool. You got this cover is iconic, man. You got Murray there in the back, with the fucking chains, and now I eventually picked up the vinyl of this, and it was kind of like a repress, with some additional stuff, and it's got like artwork that they never used before, so you can see the difference on the graphic I got up beside and this one. The guy's fully wrapped in the chains and he's locked. His head is positioned differently. His glasses are still on, but they're coming off a little bit, not like in the original. It says here, features newly commissioned cover, painting, and etching. One of the vinyls is etched on this one, and includes bonus track Evil Eyes, Blackwater Swirl Vinyl 2022 remix by Joe Barresi. This was actually a Walmart exclusive. That's where I found it, at fucking Walmart, so couldn't pass it up. Had to get it. Holy Diver. Every song on here is good, man. It's a legendary record. Stand Up and Shout. It's a heavy metal anthem. Holy Diver, of course, amazing track. Gypsy, amazing track. Caught in the Middle, really good. Don't Talk to Strangers, I think it's one of the best metal tracks ever. Don't Talk to Strangers. Straight Through the Heart, 10 out of 10. Invisible, really good. Got the Mighty Rainbow in the Dark, another heavy metal anthem. Rainbow in the Dark, Closes with Shame on the Night, another really great track. So there you go. We rank the records. It's Dio's full lengths, all 10 full lengths ranked top to bottom. Let me know what your favorite Dio records are. Let me know what some of your favorite Dio tracks are. Let me know what Dio means to you. I mean, he means a lot to me. I always think about the guy. Like, I always think about these deceased musicians, man. I think about him and, Dave Brocky and Jeff Henneman and Dimebag, a lot of these guys that, I wish were still with us. And, yeah, I'm nostalgic like that. I always keep these guys in my thoughts. When you keep people in your thoughts, they're kind of like still alive, because you're always thinking about them. Like, I keep a picture of my mom, on the fridge. And it's almost like she's still with us. As long as you remember people, they're actually still with you in spirit. And, that's kind of the way I view it. And this way you never forget about them. So thanks for hanging with me on the Realms of Metal. I've got some really cool stuff coming up. Tomorrow I've got a collaboration with Shane from Vulgar Display Gaming. We're going to do our favorite kind of metal, horror themed metal tracks. And some of them aren't even going to be metal, I can tell you right now. You probably know what's on my list if you watch my channel. You probably know at least one. So that's going to be fun with Shane tomorrow. I got a couple of reviews I'm in the process of doing that I'll be posting shortly. I got a band coming on, hopefully within the next week or so, that I'm going to interview that I found on Instagram. They're really fucking killer. I bought their vinyl. It's on the way to me now. And actually, I've been listening to it on the Bandcamp, so I'm familiar with it already, but I want to grab the vinyl first, and then we'll hook that up. And you're going to be really impressed by this band. I could tell you, you're going to love them. Last Sunday, I was on Vincent Crowley's channel. We did a whole video on early to mid 80s underground bands. We talked about a ton of shit, and that was a lot of fun. And it was so much fun that we even joked about it, like during and after the video, that, everybody's going to hammer us for all the bands that we missed. And of course, we missed a bunch of bands, but we only gave ourselves an hour. So there was only so much we could talk about. And we squeezed a lot into that hour. So we're going to be doing a part 2 of that very soon. We're getting our bands list together. We're going to go back and forth and figure out who we're going to talk about. And I'm looking forward to doing that part 2 of Vincent Crowley, man. That guy's absolutely killer. Love that guy. So keep an eye out for that. I'm also going to be doing a Q&A very soon. I got a bunch of questions at the realmsofmetal@gmail.com that I'm going to be going through later on today. And depending on what I'm doing later, I may even post that later and see what happens. So I'm going through the questions now. Thanks for those questions. I appreciate all your support, man. You guys are great. And I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and watching and, being a part of this. And, we're having fun here. We're talking about heavy metal and records and, what could be better than that? So let me know what you think. The Rank the Records. This is my second one. We did Slayer on the first one, and I'm trying to figure out who to do for number 3. So throw some suggestions down, and I'll take them into consideration. So have a killer rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys real soon.